More than 80% of our ocean has never been seen by human eyes. Think about that for a moment. We have detailed maps of the surface of Mars, the Moon, and even distant planets. Yet the deep ocean right here on our own planet remains one of the greatest mysteries in all of science. Tonight, let's drift down together into the darkness and discover just how strange this hidden world really is. Let's start with the sheer scale of it. The average depth of the ocean is around 12,000 feet, but the deepest known point, the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, plunges nearly 36,000 feet down. To put that in perspective, if you dropped Mount Everest into that trench, its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. It is so deep that only 3 people have ever reached the very bottom, which is fewer than the number of people who have walked on the moon. And the pressure down there is almost impossible to imagine. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the weight of all that water pressing down is equivalent to about 8 tons per square inch. That is like balancing 50 jumbo jets on top of a single human being. A regular submarine would be crushed like a tin can in an instant. The vehicles that do make it down have to be built like armored spheres just to survive. Now here's where it gets eerie. Once you sink past about 3,000 feet, sunlight disappears completely. This region is fittingly called the Midnight Zone, and it makes up the largest habitat on Earth. Imagine an entire world of perpetual darkness, freezing cold, and crushing pressure, and yet it is absolutely teeming with life. In fact, scientists estimate that the deep ocean may contain millions of species we have never even named. Since there is no sunlight, many of these creatures make their own. This is called bioluminescence, and it is astonishingly common down there. Some studies suggest that up to 90% of deep-sea animals can produce their own light. They use it to lure prey, to confuse predators, to find mates, and to communicate in the endless dark. Picture a living galaxy of tiny, glowing stars, drifting silently in the black water. It is one of the most beautiful sights in nature, and almost no one ever gets to see it. The creatures themselves are wonderfully bizarre. There is the anglerfish, which dangles a glowing lure in front of its enormous, toothy mouth to attract curious prey. And here is something delightfully strange about the anglerfish. The male is tiny compared to the female, and when he finds a mate, he bites into her and slowly fuses with her body, eventually becoming nothing more than a permanent source of sperm attached to her side. It is one of the weirdest relationships in the entire animal kingdom. Then there is the giant squid, a creature so elusive that for centuries it was dismissed as a sailor's myth. These animals can grow up to 43 feet long, with eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes of any animal on the planet. Despite their size, the first time anyone ever captured footage of a living giant squid in its natural habitat was in 2012. Before that, we only knew them from dead specimens that washed ashore. The deep ocean also hides some of the oldest living things on Earth. Deep-sea corals, growing slowly in the cold, dark water, can live for thousands of years. Some black coral colonies have been dated at over 4,000 years old, meaning they were already alive when the pyramids of Egypt were being built. And certain deep-sea sharks, like the Greenland shark, can live for an astonishing 400 years, making them the longest living vertebrates known to science. A Greenland shark swimming today may have been born before the United States even existed. Now, for a long time, scientists believed that all life depended on the sun. Then in 1977, everything changed. Explorers discovered hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, cracks where superheated, mineral-rich water gushes out of the Earth's crust. And gathered around these vents were thriving communities of strange creatures, giant tube worms, ghostly crabs, and clams, all living in total darkness. Instead of relying on sunlight, these ecosystems are powered by chemicals from inside the Earth itself, a process called chemosynthesis. It completely rewrote our understanding of where life can exist, and it gave scientists new hope that life might survive on other worlds, like the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Speaking of those vents, some of them spew water hotter than 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Normally that would boil instantly, but the immense pressure at those depths stops the water from turning to steam. And remarkably, certain bacteria thrive in this scalding environment, forming the very base of the food chain in these alien oases. Here is a fact that sounds like science fiction. There are lakes and rivers at the bottom of the ocean. Yes, underwater. In certain spots, pockets of extremely salty, dense water collect in basins on the seafloor, and because they're so much denser than the surrounding seawater, they do not mix. They form distinct pools complete with shorelines and even gentle waves when a submersible passes through. These brine pools are so toxic that creatures who wander into them often do not make it out, which is why they have earned the chilling nickname, the jacuzzis of despair. The deep ocean even shapes the very air you're breathing right now. Tiny plant-like organisms called phytoplankton, along with the ocean's vast processes, produce a huge portion of the world's oxygen. Some estimates suggest the ocean generates more than half of all the oxygen on Earth. So every other breath you take is, in a sense, a gift from the sea. And the ocean floor is far from flat and empty. Running along the bottom is the mid-ocean ridge, a continuous mountain range that snakes around the entire globe for over 40,000 miles. It is the longest mountain range on the planet by far, and yet almost all of it is hidden beneath the waves, completely invisible to us. Down there, the Earth is literally being born as molten rock rises and creates new seafloor. There's also a phenomenon called marine snow, which sounds far gentler than it is. It is a constant, soft drift of organic material, the remains of dead plankton, animals, and waste, slowly falling from the sunlit waters above down into the abyss. For deep-sea creatures, this falling snow is a vital food source, the only nourishment many of them will ever receive. And when something truly large dies, like a whale, its body sinks to the bottom and becomes a feast that can sustain an entire ecosystem for decades. Scientists call this a whale fall, and it is a whole little world of life that springs up around a single carcass. Perhaps the most humbling fact of all is how little we truly know. We have explored only a tiny fraction of the deep sea floor in any detail. New species are being discovered on almost every expedition, and there are likely thousands, perhaps millions, of creatures down there that no human will ever lay eyes on. The deep ocean is quite literally the last great unexplored frontier on our own planet, more mysterious to us than the surface of the moon. So the next time you stand at the edge of the sea and gaze out at that calm, endless blue, remember what lies beneath. A vast, dark, glowing, alien world full of giants and ancient creatures and secrets we have barely begun to uncover. It is a reminder that even in an age of satellites and supercomputers, our planet still holds wonders we can scarcely imagine. If you enjoyed drifting into the deep with us tonight, consider subscribing to BetterNight for more calming journeys into the wonders of our world. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with us, and until next time, rest well and keep wondering.